understand who Killer the Dog was.
Well, I just think...
What's happening, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, you know, I didn't expect... Hold on. Look at that crazy lighting. Hold on a second. Let's try that. Woo. Much better.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm in Key West, Florida. This is my Airbnb.
Oh, nice.
And normally I have, you know, my little podcast thing that can hold up the phone and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have that here. Forgot my headphones. So I'm going to kind of have to wing it, which I'm all right with doing. So, you want to see my amazing podcast holder?
Hell yeah.
For those of you learning at home, it's a coffee maker. Are you trying to film a podcast, but you don't have anything to work with it? Find a coffee cup, lift it up, put it in the brewing part. Ta-da!
That works. That works.
It does work.
That's funny.
So let me ask you. Oh, I can see a little bit of your face, bro.
I know.
You're starting to get all cocky. You're starting to show your face. I like it.
No, I just
stop you. Like, are you Mike from the Breuniverse? Dude, you're the guy that makes all the magic happen. I love it, dude.
Right.
It's the guy. Because I saw that one episode. I could see the side of his face. Can you tell I've had 3 espresso shots?
No,
Wow.
not at all. Not at all.
For people that don't know, I just this is an early taping for us. So you know what? I kind of like the early tapings because I'm on fire at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah. See that.
All right. So today, here's what we got. I know Shock is going to come on. He's going to help us with stuff. I had some people, you know, everyone said, I got people sending me stuff from whatever. I guess there was a State of the Union. I don't watch that stuff. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It's all a goof show. It's a carnival. It's all nonsense. However, someone brought to my attention, was it you, Mike, or you did? You found this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because I was looking for like old shit that you did just to watch it and kind of see how you did it. And I found Life on Tour. I think it's what it was. It was like episode 2.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that shit, and then somehow I found what I found.
All right, so we're going to talk about... So here's the thing. I find it fascinating that people want to claim you, and then they want to categorize you, and then they want to analyze and do all this stuff. Where at the end of the day, you don't know what my journey is about. You don't know what my intentions are. And yet, some people try to analyze them, get angry, and blah, blah, blah. So this is, I started watching the first couple minutes of this, and I was like, this guy's boring me to death. I don't know what he's looking at. And then all I heard is him trying to lump me in. He said QAnon, and I was like, all right, you know what? Let's get this guy, this banana, and let's get him. And I say banana from love because apparently he doesn't like if you say certain words. I don't know. Whatever it is. I haven't seen all of it. So I'd rather it be raw and have a natural reaction to what I'm going to see and hear and start taking it from there. And then, and we asked him to come out. Has he reached back at all?
Not that I know of. I know he's got, I had to do some digging as far as how to get in touch with him. I had to get like into his Discord, and from there, there's like an 800 number that you leave a voicemail, and it's the easiest way to get to him. Something like that.
Now, who is he? Anyone, like, do people know who he is? Is it one of those?
I mean, he's got like 60-something thousand subscribers on YouTube. I mean,
okay, that's a lot.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what his deal is. And does he claim himself as anything? In other words, I'm Charlie, and I'm here to bring you the truth and the blah blah blah. Or I'm the left wing person or the right wing blah blah. However he labels himself. Does he label himself, or it's just him?
I mean, he's an atheist.
Okay.
There's that.
Oh, so is that it? Okay. So he's like, no God, and if you believe in God, you know what? We're not going to judge. We'll just see what he has to say. So he's an atheist.
And the episode of his was kind of long, so I chopped it down a bit. So it might seem a little bit out of context, but I tried to keep it to make sense as much as possible.
Okay. So what am I going to look at this first clip, and what are the people going to see?
What is this? He's talking about what the hell are you on? You're doing an interview. I think it was with someone on Fox about the whole mandates, not playing shows that are requiring mandates, you know, for vaccinations and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then it goes into how then you started doing that tour, the Reawaken America tour, and that's when you went full blown.
I did two spots on that tour, right?
Yeah. So he agreed with like your thing about the jester. You were talking about how the jester comes in and, you know, does the thing. You don't remember that? Right. So, yeah. So I cut that up because it was kind of long, but he agreed with what you said for that part. So
has he got a problem with me doing shows at certain venues? Is that his deal? Like, I don't.
He said he used to watch you when he was a kid, and he just thinks you went full blown cuckoo nutso.
All right, that's fair enough. All right, let's see what brought him to this point. I went cuckoo nutso. It'd be kind of fun if he really thinks that, to get him on and have these people come on and actually talk to him. There is a part of me that's like, why not? Whoever starts. Well, let's look at what he's. Right. How long is this clip?
The whole thing is 5 minutes, but I mean, I can stop it whenever. I can, you know, jump through also.
Well, that's a long clip, Mike.
It was 20 minutes originally.
All right, let's see, and then we'll take it from there.
You guys know Jim Breuer, right? I'm probably the last person to talk about this story, but he put out a really weird video a while back. Video came out mid-December.
Stop. Here's he's already projecting his personal opinion and agenda, which is fine. But just like a news story, let me explain how things work. When the news comes on, they like to pretend. The voodoo trick is they like you to say, hey, you know what? We're going to give you the facts and you figure it out. But that's not the case. How the mind control works is they'll say, here's terrorism at its worst. They've already told you what it is. And for the people that are not going to think, they already heard the word terrorism. When people say, here's a real wacky video. What do you say? A what? A wacky video?
Yeah, wacky video.
Okay. So you immediately going, whoa, this is wacky. He already is saying this is wacky. And so whoever follows him immediately is like, yeah, let's see the wacky video. Which is totally fine, but I just want people to know, not for just people like him. It's just like any other conversation. If you don't like your neighbor and you're fighting, there's three sides to every story. There's your side, their side, the truth. You've heard that a million times. But if I'm sitting there and the couple across the street is going through a divorce, and I'm only talking to the man, and the man is like, you know, she's a real nutball, and and if you're already emotionally engaged, you already painted the wife as a nutball and a bitch and a this and a that without even talking to her. But that's how, when like that, here's a real wacky thing. Here's something odd about this. They're already projecting the image and it's already installed. But okay, we'll give him a fair shot. So I'm a wacky. Let's hear about my wacky, bizarre video.
Well, that's regarding the whole cockatiel thing that you do on stage.
It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
It makes me laugh.
I know, man.
A cockatoo, by the way, it started with Theo Von.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the Theo Von podcast, right? I really like Theo Von. Why? Because he clearly went to Hollywood. They didn't get him. And he figured out, maybe I could do it on my own. He went and figured out he had drug problems, all that. He cleaned himself up. He's got his own vision. He does his own thing. And I have so much respect for people like that. And Theo asked me to go on his show. And it's people like Theo, when you find someone in life that you connect with, and your energy is incredible, and you both come creative on whatever creativity. If you're a female and you meet someone that's really good at decorating, or my wife will meet someone that's good at decorating, the two of them are like, oh my God, we can put this there. Boom, they're off to the races. I don't know anything about that. But me and Theo had me so loose and creative, and I could be myself. When I came up with the cockatoo, which is in the special, Somebody Had to Say It, my comedy special, what I'm referring to is brainwashing. If you don't understand that so many of us are brainwashed, I can't help you. If you don't believe it, that's fine. That's on you. But it's just like a bird that sits there and he listens to you every day in the cage. And every day you go, want a cracker? Want a cracker? Eventually he starts going, want a cracker? Want a cracker? The cockatoo would have never came up with that unless you looked at him every day and said, want a cracker? Want a cracker? It would never go, want a cracker? Want a cracker? The cockatoo with the top of the hair. So let's see what he's upset about. The cockatoo. When I talk about the cockatoo, I'm referring to people sit there and go, they watch the screen, and they go, misinformation, war, Nazis, white supremacists. I mean, you're being fed these thoughts. Therefore, the cockatoo. You're a cockatoo. So anyway, go ahead.
Completely unhinged from reality. It's effectively a QAnon conference. And Jim Breuer of Saturday Night Live has been performing there.
He just labeled. Let me explain something. This guy, Clay Clark, reached out to me. And he said, I love what you're doing. He goes, I think you should be playing in front of some other crowds and try your stuff there. Now, what you need to know about me, in the last 2-3 years, we're all trying to figure things out. And I do walk along the line my whole life. I've never joined the club. Meaning, Shaka will tell you that in high school. In high school, you had the potheads, the athletes, the smart kids, the real geeks, the theater kids. I hung out with every group. I don't sit there. Hey, here's my jacket. I'm a jock. Hey, I'm in the smart group. I never labeled myself. If you were to look at the people I surround myself, the best saying we have is, in this group, nobody thinks who they are. This guy's a lawyer. This guy's a landscaper. This guy's a fireman. This one's a financial advisor. This one is a pastor. This one owns a funeral parlor. So the point of the conversation is, when you start having a problem with where people join I always tell people, don't worry about where the message is being delivered. Listen to the message. And if the message is consistent in every platform, which I believe it has been for me, I'll be the first one to say you're absolutely wrong, then so be it. But this guy, again, just immediately said it's basically a QAnon group. Has he been to one of these? I will put my life on it and say no. He's judging an entire group. He's taking me and labeling me, which again is a brilliant brainwashing. That's what they do. You're brainwashed. This guy is brainwashed, and he's already looking for problems. So he starts off right away, wacky video to his audience, and they're like, yeah, it's a wacky video. Then he goes, it's basically a QAnon group. Now, I don't know what a QAnon group is. I've heard of them. I don't actually know what a QAnon group is. Have I heard of Q? Of course I have. Everyone's had it. They put it on. It was all over the place 2 years ago. The reason Clay Clark called and he said, hey, I want you to be on the stage. It's this guy. It's General Flynn. It's the pillow guy and pastors. And he said it's at a church. And I'm not on the day when the other guys are on, the Flynn, the blah, blah, blah. And what I'm working on, just like on this podcast, that's funny how God works. There are stories that help people, that have helped people, and you take it for what they are. I don't tell you have to read a Bible or believe in Jesus or whatever. I basically tell you the story. My father passing away, the cardinal story. There's a million of these stories. When my brother died and he came back to my life. So to get in front of a faith crowd, I would love to do that because a lot of people, they don't know me. People like this guy that oh, he's a Saturday Night Live guy. I'm not the Saturday Night Live guy. I'm not the half-baked guy. Those are characters. That's not Jim Breuer, the dad, the person, the one you're going to talk to on the street. That's not who I am. So immediately this guy is judging and making you already hate the group, which is very dangerous in our society. Because what he doesn't understand is that in every group, no matter what group you go in front of, there's good people, there's bad people, there's radicals, and there's people trying to figure things out. What I've been learning in life, and if you want to go by faith or whatever, you go to everywhere. You listen to the homeless person, you listen to the junkie, you listen to the hooker, you listen to the Bible study leader, you listen to the criminal, and you offer what you can to all those areas. And if one person in that room is inspired or touched or healed, then the mission is accomplished, as long as your intentions are good. And when there's people like this who's already recklessly dividing in his opening 1 minute statement, these are the people that are extremely dangerous for humanity and where we're going. He needs to understand, why don't you go to one of these events? Why don't you listen to some of the doctors that are speaking? Why don't you listen to some of the pastors that are talking? And there's some real heavyweight doctors at these events. Why don't you go there and listen to some business owners that lives have been destroyed? All he did is hear, Mike the Pillow Guy, which he's already, I've never met Mike the Pillow Guy. I've never met General Flynn. I don't know anything about them. I just got asked to do a thing with them. I said, I don't know until I know people. Listen, I'm on my own little path here. And I'll tell you what, I did 2 events for this Reawaken American tour, and they were 2 of the best performance-wise, the love in the room. And none of those people knew who I was. I'm going to say like 80% of those people had no clue who I was. No clue. And they were so touched, and they were so moved, and they laughed so damn hard. the feeling in there is just so beautiful from my experience. And this is the danger. Do not judge things until you are in it. This guy. It's basically a QAnon, even though, when you go to Africa, it's basically, were you there? Were you in Africa? No, then you can't talk about it. So Jim Breuer, who said it live 30 years ago, is basically one of my senators. Now he's basically doing QAnon. Were you there? No. Then you're basing everything off of nonsense. However, you're going to project yourself as, let me give you some information. You are the issue. Continue with this banana.
So you had just talked about the whole Jester thing, and he said he's on board with what you said. So this is right after that.
So he's on board what he sees, but everything he hasn't seen, he has a problem with. Go ahead.
Right.
Make you think. And if you shut down that, and it's the last thing with free speech, comedy heals, and comedy is the most important element of human existence, if you ask me.
Okay, I can definitely see a comedian taking that perspective. I would say medicine is probably more important. Science, those are probably a little bit higher on my list, but I guess I get why a comedian would say it's comedy. Let's continue.
It is a thing that can heal you from...
You're thinking medicine. Medicine heals.
No. Hold on a second. See, right there, he's foolish. I should say he's foolish, but he's not thinking. He's not taking a broader horizon. And maybe he's never experienced healing through laughter. Maybe he's never experienced that. But when you have deep emotional pain, and often deep physical pain, if you can heal one another by laughing, that heals a spot in your life that a drug cannot, that medicine cannot, then science cannot. And that lifts your soul, your spirit. And that is healing. It allows you to move on. More than a drug, more than science. I'm not denouncing science, but he's denouncing that comedy can heal. And I guarantee he's never experienced it. So I'll give it to him. But unless you experience it, he's not open-minded whatsoever. And that is the issue with people like this. We have to talk to this guy and not debate. But what would be beautiful is to start understanding one another. Maybe I could show him and talk to him about stories, and he can then go, wow, I never thought of it that way. And he can try to explain something to me where I go, wow, I never thought of it that way. But to immediately denounce, you're already dividing. You're already causing conflict. His intention is not good. He does not have a good intention, which I find sad, because I think this guy has potential. We got to have this guy on. I would love. He'd be a great interview. So, does he continue on after this? Does he do the whole show about me? Is that his podcast?
The whole 20-minute episode is dedicated just to you.
That's awesome. This
is a part that I'm going to show you right now. That you've explained before on this podcast about how people tell you to trust the science. And then, you make fun of the mandates and the vaccine, but yet you trusted the science when it came to D. And
right.
It's like, that's, like people don't understand that. So here, I'll play it.
Little cockatoos staring at the screen. Facts and figures. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci. Trust the science.
Yeah.
You know the saddest part about this whole thing? By the way, I'm laughing out of secondhand embarrassment, not because it's funny. It's not. It's fucking stupid. The saddest part about this whole thing is the fact that his wife got cancer a few years ago. D. Breuer. And guess what? He trusted the science then. He looked at the facts and figures then.
What this is just people. Again, it's the Great Division. This guy's locked into anyone who doesn't believe in science. Any type of faith is stupid. Blah blah blah. First of all, murdered at that gig. When I say murdered, I mean slayed. Murdered. The next gig, murdered. Even they were standing in the middle routines because all I was doing is telling truth and all that. You know, the science people. Listen, again. Do you? If a guy like I can't wait to talk to a guy like this. When they make references like that, it's like, first of all, it's like, okay, so my wife gets treatment, so therefore I should believe what the news media tells me about getting vaccinated. Is that, I mean, he uses the word stupid and all this. This guy he's typical. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he's typical. He's the typical closed-minded, judgmental, doesn't know anything. It's unfortunate, but people in his position think they know everything because they're educated. Look, I have a degree, therefore I'm smart. Therefore, I'm above you, and I know so much more than you and so many others. Do you think as scientists, if I have a company and I need you to sell this product, and I hire scientists because people like yourself go, I believe scientists, do you think my scientists that I'm paying are going to give me numbers that appeal against me? And you're calling me stupid? You think Pfizer, the CDC scientists that are just working for free will, giving honest answers that work for us. If I'm selling a product, am I going to sit there and go, I don't know how to sell this product? No, because then I'm fired. Science is funded by man. Everything is, hey, get these numbers I need. Where I come from, it's not funded. Religion, funded. Faith, common sense, thought process, not funded. Just thoughts that are not science, thoughts that come within, that we're all connected. Souls are all connected. Energy. No one's funding what I have to say, but they're funding what you believe. And that's the difference. And what I would say to this guy, you know, Jon Stewart said something amazing. Amazing. He went on, I saw this clip where he went on a late night talk show. And he said, this clip was so damn good. I wonder what he thinks of Jon Stewart. I wonder, maybe we should send him a clip of this Jon Stewart clip where Jon Stewart goes on, what's the other late night talk guy?
Colbert?
Colbert, yeah, Colbert. He goes on Colbert, and Jon Stewart says, you know, we have to I'm very thankful for the science. You know, so many lives. Now, don't quote me. Are you looking for the clip?
And I honestly mean this. I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science has in many ways helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
The same science that creates the problem has the solutions. Yay, science! To this person, I have to ask, you know, I've been traveling for a long time. And I just have a question. Over the last 15, 20 years, I started seeing hospitals starting to build, more hospitals popping up. How many med students have you heard that have went into the medical field over the last 10, 15 years? Like, just an astronomical amount of people that I know. The facts and figures could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just basing what I'm saying on people around me, like, oh, this one was going to be a nurse. This one wants to be a nurse. That one wants to be a doctor. This one wants to go into medicine. This one wants to. Everyone I know, their kids are going into that. So my question to that is, if I'm selling cars and I start buying 1 million parking lots everywhere, am I a foolish businessman just to buy parking lots and assume people are going to be buying cars, this amount of cars, and I'll just be able to fill every lot? Because if you're building that many hospitals over the country over the last 15, 20 years, maybe more, from what I've seen from traveling, I travel, I watch, I consume thoughts, I experience. I don't get it as a cockatoo. Reading the agenda, watching the agenda, I experience. So my question is, if you're building all these hospitals and you're sending all these kids to med school, I would imagine you wouldn't invest in that unless you knew people were going to be sick for a long time and continue to get sick, so you can make more money, more money, more money. Yay, science. That's the same type of people that will call anyone with faith or whatever as a cult, but yet they think they're not in one.
Dude, I was on this guy's Discord. It's a cult.
Of course it is.
It's a fucking cult.
I love how they point fingers. Everyone else is crazy unless you're into science. It's a freaking listen. Everyone's in a journey, and but I want this guy to be able to talk for himself. But if you're bringing my name up and talking like that, then I got to address it right away. I just got to address it. You found it, and it's the first. This guy hasn't even talked 3 minutes, and I realize he's just. But this is the type of person I'd like to know, and I've had them. I had people like this reach out to me to like, hey, so let me get this straight. You don't trust science? Like, who are you talking to? That again, you're a cockatoo. Trust the science. Trust the science. You would have never came up with that on your own thought process. I guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. You heard that from the screen, from your smart book. I'm smart. This education says I'm smart, so therefore I'm above, and I can talk down, and I know more than you. You don't, bro. None of us do. You can't walk that way in life. I cannot stress this enough. For me and anyone else, as long as I'm out there trying to inspire, trying to touch one person in a room, no matter what room they're in. And I'll give you a little thing about that Reawaken American tour. After the first show, I don't know who tweeted it out, but they said, oh, the right just got funnier and the left is scared, meaning the right wing, left wing. So I immediately called Clay, who I really, really like. He's done nothing to me. He's given me nothing but inspiration and an opportunity. I'll just say this. I totally forgot what I was going to say. I was in the thought.
Mm-hmm.
Come back. Come back. Please come back. Caffeine's wearing off.
Yep.
So anyway, listen. I wanted to get this point across. It's driving me nuts now. How did I start that conversation off, Mike?
You were talking about Clay, what's his face?
Yeah. Oh.
Shit.
You suck too, Mike.
I know, dude. I know. I'm sorry. I know.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
See, there you go.
Basically, look. I know exactly what I was going to say. I was thinking of this 2 days ago. I think of this all the time. The more we label ourselves, they're QAnon, they're liberal, they're gay, they're anti-vaxxers, they're conservative, they're Republican, they're Democrat, they're into science, they're anti-science, they're Christian whack jobs, they're nationalists, they're Muslim. The more you label, the more you close your mind, and you're not going to be able to grow as a human, as a spirit. And these forces, the TV, everything we're watching, listen, everything is doing everything in its power to infiltrate people like we watch today, who's completely closed-minded, already looking for battle and already pushing everyone aside. I go through this with my wife. My wife has a deep faith, but I'm like, hun, you know, sometimes you're very, oh, I won't listen to that. I won't listen to that. And I don't listen to that because it's not Christian. I'm like, why? Well, then you're closing the door. You're closing the gap. You can't close gaps. That's how we touch lives. That's how we get to know each other. When you judge something and you don't know anything about it, and then you jump into that world, and it may blow your mind. It may heal a fear you've had without a drug, without science. When I worked in Harlem for 3 years, that enhanced my soul, my vision, of my understanding for so many things. There's no science involved, but it healed a lot inside me. When you talk to enemies and you understand why they're so damn angry, why they're so damn upset, why they think this way. And then you start talking to each other and go, bro, you don't know. We're all individuals. We're all individuals. Stop labeling. This war, and I call it a war, is on all of us. So the last thing I want is this poor guy, and I will say I'm a poor guy because I do believe he is narrow-minded, not willing to open, has no clue, has not experienced so much, but his lack of experience is allowing him to be closed-minded. These QAnons, he got that from whatever propaganda this wacky, why is it whack? Oh, his wife likes to decide, but he don't believe it. So this is so, he's already dividing. And too many people with that when you spew that energy just keeps going and going and causes, and they're in every group. They're in every group. You know, I go to the gym and I heard this guy, he's a full-blown Republican, and he came, I saw him talk to another guy. He goes walking over to him. Actually, the other guy said, "Hey, you done with the bench yet?" And the guy was kind of like giving him an attitude, the Republican dude. And then he finally said, "Hey man, would you just move in this area?" And the guy said, "Yeah, my name's Todd, and the mood's from wherever he said." And it was and he said one little thing that made the Republican guy happy. He goes, "Oh, so you're not one of them liberals?" He's like, "No." "Oh, all right." And they totally changed. Take my number, blah 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 blah. And again, like minds think alike, but there was part of me that was like, you got a lot of listen. Both sides, liberal, conservative, get rid of the labels. We're all individuals. And the minute we all grasp that, and the minute we realize we're projecting our energy into such unnecessary theatrical theater, which is what it is, and infiltrating the way you think, the way you dress, what your emotions will be, it's controlling you more than you can imagine. You got to walk away. So let me bring on Shaka, who actually we started talking. Jimmy Shaka said something really cool to me a while ago, and we might have did it here on our podcast. What's up, Jimbo?
What's going on, Jimbo?
So this leads to right here. This guy particularly, and there's so many of them like that. And I don't want to just say it's just this group or just this group. Every group is filled with anger and resentment, like we've been saying for years. It's professional wrestling, even politics. My opponent wants to let whoever they want in here. Boo! My opponent is a baby killer. Boo! My opponent doesn't believe in women's rights. Boo! My opponent hates gay people. Boo! It's theater, people. Every 4 years, theater.
That's right.
They're all sucked into it. They go behind the curtain. They laugh their asses off at us.
And they all sit at the bar and have a drink together. Someone called it the Republicrats, right? It's just like, and when they say it's a party, this party, that party, they're all at the same party.
They're all in the same party. They're laughing.
They go, cheers.
Cheers. Look at these dummies go. But we got to get people like this guy who's like science, Jim, healing, stupid, blah, blah, blah. And a great thing you said to me a long time ago, Shock, and you probably don't remember it, but I never forgot it. There's a couple things you said to me in my life where I'm like, wow, that was wow. And one of them was, you went, Jimbo, you know what we got to do? He goes, you know how you fast for your body? Well, yeah, because we have to fast for our minds. Fasting for your body is really good for your health. But you know what's even better? Why not fast? No one ever talks about you need to fast. Do fasting for your mind.
Right.
You need to turn everything off. I tell people, sit still, be silent. But do you remember that?
Oh yeah, no, that's it. On like physical, mental, emotional, just. Number one, yeah, quiet the mind. Like you used to say when we did the radio show, right? We used to have the slogan, no radio, no TV, no news.
That's right.
No radio, no TV, no news.
No religion, no news, no pop culture. That was our show. I
had an interesting experience when I was singing, and I spent 6 months in Cancun, Mexico. Right. I was at the Hard Rock. I was 20 something years old. Right. And I'm singing at the Hard Rock, and I didn't have any television except for like local Mexican TV, which I was not interested in looking at. Right.
Right. Scooby-Doo is on it.
Right.
Yeah.
and it just had rabbit ears like on the thing, which made it even worse. So it was like really like real Mexican local, right? And anyway, so for 6 months I didn't see any American media, right? And then one day Larry actually comes to Mexico to see me, and he's in this big fancy American hotel. I was in like the band house, you know, cockroaches and stuff, right? But he's in a big fancy American hotel, and I go in his room, and he's got on CNN.
Ugh.
And Clinton was the president at the time. That's how long ago it was, right?
Okay.
So I just take one look at the television, and I'm like, this guy is so full of shit. Every word out of his mouth, he's just it's so obvious. I'm like, Larry, you don't see this? He's like, no, what are you talking about, bro? This is serious stuff. He's blah, 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 blah. Because when you see it every day, and you just, number one, you become numb to it, right? Death, horror, you know, and then, and after a while, it's just conditioning. No, this is what happened, because they keep saying it over and over and over, right?
Bro, let me explain something to you. My mom, you just made me think of something. My mom, okay, just like you said, you keep saying it over and over, and you believe the lie after a while.
Right.
Crazy example. My oldest sister has a big burn on her face. You know who I'm talking about. Don't say. And she has her face thing, which I didn't recognize only because I grew up with it and I didn't think much of it, right? And it goes down her neck. And I would start asking my mom when I was a kid, like, what happened to her face? And she would say, oh, when we were in they accidentally spilled acid on it. I'm like, oh my God, the horror, right? Now, other people would say that, kids, and she'd always say, oh, they accidentally dropped acid on it. And I would tell people, oh, dude, when they were, and then it took me as a teenager, late teenager, almost like 20 years old, before I went, wait a minute. So why would they have acid in the ambulance and they spilt it on her face when she was being born? I don't like what I don't get. And then the story started changing, which my mom took to her grave.
Right.
But the moral of the story is forever. I'm like, yep, nope, acid on their face.
Right.
They accidentally dropped it. It's not what happened.
Right.
But I believed it. And a lot of my friends, we all like, yep, no, acid on the face. The same thing with media. They just keep saying it and you believe it. And whether you think it's real, oh, the science is, no, it's not.
The science.
Numbers
is always changing.
Old. That's all. They're paid. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I'm getting off. Go ahead.
No, the science is always changing, number one. Number two, the old expression, history is written by the winners.
Yes. You don't know so much. You only know 1% of everything. It goes back to, here's the thing with history that people don't understand. It's no different than what I said before. Meaning, if this couple's in an argument and they're having they're getting divorced, I'm only getting the man's version. You're only getting the girl's version.
Yep.
You're not getting the full version here.
Right.
But I'm team guy and you're team female, and no, she's a bitch and she's an asshole. Well, you don't do this and she don't do. Nobody knows.
Right.
The full story.
Right.
You're only getting this nugget. That's it. And you're putting your life into it. You gotta detach from that.
So what do we do?
What do? We open. In my opinion, the thing that's helped me big time. First of all, you have to detox. You have to, as a fun experiment, I'm begging everyone to do this. First of all, do everything in your power to not have any screens on. Try with 1 week. and see how long it takes you to last 1 week. And I guarantee you, most of you will not pull it off in 2 days. And then you realize, like an alcoholic, you go, try not to have a drink for a week. And then they'll find themselves day 2 going, I just want to sip. I just want to, if I can just have a, I'm not going to have a hard drink. I'm just going to have a red wine. And then same thing with how addicted you are to media, television, film. If you find yourself by the end of the day going, I just want to see what's going on with Ukraine, and are we, what's going on? Addicted. It's your heroin. Start by weaning yourself off the drug. What do you got to lose? You think you're going to war? What are you going to do about it? You can't do nothing until the soldier's on your front step.
Right.
A nuclear missile come? Oh, gee, I wish I was informed. I was coming. What are you so worried about if you're not informed?
And you know what else? When you start doing that, when you just turn things off, because your mind does need some kind of stimulus or whatever, your kid will pop into your head. Your neighbor will pop into your head, and you say, you know what? I was just thinking about you. Just thought I'd say hello. Just how's it going?
How many times I do that, and then I end up writing. I get the thoughts just come. They say the voices, blah blah blah. They're not like wacky voices, but go intuition, instinct, whatever it is, it comes to you, and it goes. And I've learned so much, and I've healed, and I felt so much love and given so much love when I detox from all of it. And when I'm just silent and take those long silent times, whether they're sitting or walking, whatever, those are the moments where I go, hey, you know what? Your youngest one, you're running. Take time and really think about where this kid's head is at and what this kid is going through. And what were you like at this age? And what do you think of your parents, and what was infiltrating, and what was the temptations, and what's their temptation? And you can start to understand things so much better, and even go, wow, this kid must be going through so much, and here I am wrapped up in science and conservator and being anti, and that is, I'm telling you, it can change lives. It can change your life, but you got to do what Shaka said. You have to fast. Media fast.
You cut out. What'd you say there?
I said we have to do like what you said. We have to fast. Fast our brain. Fast yourself from watching the media. Fast yourself from watching television and film. Just be silent. Don't be scared of it. Take a ride. Don't turn on the radio. Don't fear silence.
Yeah.
That's all I say. But I'm going to cut today. We're going to go in other directions. I think we got the point across. I want to leave people on a good note. And you keep saying I'm choppy, so I don't want to mess with it. I appreciate you coming on today, Shaka.
You got it, man. Always. One thing before I go, you quiet your mind, right? People talk about meditation, quiet, right? And they say, how do I do that? How do I quiet the mind? Listen, hold on, listen. You hear that? No, that little second right there, you were quiet in your mind. When I just said that, when I said, listen, you hear that? For that split second, you were quiet. Just do that and do that a little longer. Go, shh, you hear that? There's nothing to hear. Just expand that out. Now you're meditating, right? Start with a second, then it goes to 5 seconds. All of a sudden, for a minute, I didn't have a thought. I was just in that quiet space. Boom. Now you're in. Sorry. Go on.
No, I love it. And I think a lot of you will be surprised how much goodness can come from that. And hopefully it's nothing but goodness. But it can't hurt. Let's try to get that guy on one time. If he doesn't, that's cool. I think we can. I think we can learn from one another, and I'd like to learn from one another. I'm about let's start learn from one another. If you got small-minded visions, well then let's have you on and let's have a conversation. You know, Shaka, we were great at this when we would travel together. And we'd have all different walks of life that we would speak with, and I value those days so much in my life. Yeah. So, all right, be good, my friend. Love you, brother. And love for everyone out there, try being silent, try turn off, and stop labeling yourself and stop labeling others. There is common ground. The common ground is we're all being played. We're all being programmed. All of us. You gotta detach. It's the first step. Be silent. Be still. Sit. Sit still, silence. Got nothing to lose. I wish you the best. All the best to your family and everyone you love. Pour some good love out this week, huh? Stop going this and that and this and this crazy and that and stupid. They don't believe it. Stop that. Stop it. Find the good and build that up in one another. It's not that hard. Thanks for hanging out in the Breuniverse. We'll catch you next week.
This is going to be a Broadway play in 3 years.
6 foot safe.
You look great, Grandpa. Take out your cameras for selfies because Jim wanted his head sticking out the edge of the cannon. Oh my God, I love these. Sexist, racist, rights, gay rights, people rights, human rights.
For what you are about to receive.
And may you all have love and laughter in this crazy lifetime we're living.